Welcome back to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Murph, and today we're going to go over why Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think, are preparing for a massive pump, as well as I think we're going to have the most exciting altcoin season of all time coming soon. I also want to share with you an NFT game project that's coming forward that I think will do really well, not only in this bull market, but far, far down the road, 10 or 20 years from now, and I'll share with you why. As well as give you an update on how some of our picks have been doing, because they have been doing great. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this party started. Join me, Rainmakers. Alright, so if you're a subscriber to the channel, you already know that I'm frequently asking myself the question, how can I do the very best with my portfolio for the months ahead? And I'm constantly looking ahead and thinking, what can really do well for me? I have some in my long-term hold portfolio that just sit there, and really good ones that I think will do well for a lot of times. I have a lot in my swing trade portfolio that I swing trade for, maybe I hold them for a couple weeks to a couple months. And then I have some that I might trade, not usually in less than a day, but usually over maybe a week period. And so I'm always analyzing the market, and I'm looking at what might do well in the coming couple weeks, and that informs me not only for the longer term on some of the stuff, but some of the stuff that I swing trade. My best guess is Bitcoin and Ethereum are ready for a pump, and let me share with you exactly why. So this is the Bitcoin chart, and we know that Bitcoin has kept bumping up around this 60,000 mark, and it did break through ever so shortly and came right back in and traded right around that mark, and a couple times is then come up to it. But overall, look at this bottom trend line, and every time these lows keep getting higher and higher and higher, and so the sellers aren't able to push the price down very far. Now at the end of this pattern, usually it has a choice whether it's going to break up or break down, and my guess is with all the sideways action trading we've been having on Bitcoin for quite a while, it is quite ready to go on a massive run. In fact, some more of the institutional buyers are buying. I just would be shocked if it fell from here rather than breaking to the upside, because I think it's getting ready for a break to the upside. Now, when we say massive run for altcoins versus Bitcoin is a very different thing. By massive run, it might be an $8,000 to $15,000 at the max increase from what I see from this next leg up. And then it will probably trade sideways for a while. In fact, we see many of these patterns. So it hit 41,000 and then it traded within this pattern. If we were to draw this line, you could see it. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. And you see this, and then it broke out, and that was a perfect breakout. Not only did it break out, it came back and retested this for support, and then it broke higher up to here. So it went from the previous high is 41,000, then it went to 48,000, and then actually not too long later it broke up and went to 58,000. So it's not like Bitcoin usually doubles in a 1 week period of time. It usually might increase by, say, 10 or 20%, and that's probably what we're looking at here, is a 10 to 20% increase. And so I have chosen to move much of what I was holding into Bitcoin in Bitcoin into what I call blue chip altcoins, which are your larger cap altcoins that I think during the same time period, in say the coming 3 to 9 months, they're going to vastly outperform what Bitcoin does, because I mean realistically Bitcoin's at about 60,000. Where can Bitcoin hit from here? Well, it might be 180,000, it might be 500,000. But at 60,000, if it's 180,000, that's only a 3x from here, which is pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, what kind of stocks can you get that might do that over a period of, say, 6 to 8 months? Almost nothing. Okay, how are those same blue chip altcoins going to do? Probably higher than that. Let's talk about the next big one that has been trading sideways for a while here. In fact, gives us a very beautiful W pattern. Now, I call them W's even though there's a more technical name for it. Why do I call them W's? Because they look just like W's, and so it's a lot easier if you think about them as W's to recognize the pattern. Now, does it always break up from here? No, sometimes it breaks down before going up, and it looks like this. And let me zoom in here and show you on an hourly time frame what's really happening here. So we have the larger W pattern that we can see. And then it's hit the top here and it's formed a little W within that, right? And so it's trying to break out. It's just hitting this resistance right around here and has a hard time pushing through it. But because it's got so much momentum built over a long period of time, I think it's ready to bust through that. And Ethereum's going to take a run. And where will Ethereum go from here? Well, my guess is close to the $3,000 mark. So from where we're at here, that's close to a 50% increase, which is great. It's a lot better than what Bitcoin might do if they both break out. It's just not even as high as some of the altcoins that I'm holding. So I'm not personally holding a lot of Ethereum, though I'm a strong believer in the project. Now, why is it even pumping at all? Well, I think Ethereum has hit a store of value for a lot of people. Now, a lot of people are frustrated, me included, with where Ethereum has been going because the fees are crazy. Now, why are the fees so crazy? Well, because they did such a good job creating a use case that people are actually using it like crazy. The challenge was it wasn't built to handle so much congestion, and therefore the Ethereum gas fees have gone up tremendously. And I was trying to look at sending a transaction earlier today that had a smart contract involved with it, and so the total Ethereum fees was like $105 to send about 1,500 worth of value. And I was like, oh my goodness. However, there are some people that have, especially on the investment side, that have been just buying ETH as a store of value in addition to Bitcoin, and that has continued to put pressure on Ethereum to rise. So even though they haven't fixed their use case and there's been a big delay on some of the promises of what they had coming, it's doing well because of that. All right, so my thoughts on the NFT stuff. Now, about a year ago, I started an NFT project, and I hired an artist and an animator, and I created some NFT cards. At the time, they were some of the best out there. Now, since then, technology has gotten even better, and technology has surpassed that, and even better stuff is available. But to me, it seemed like there was room for some nice NFT cards that really kind of memorialize where we are in time and some of the personalities involved with this technology that's changing the future for forever. And I called it Crypto Flare Collectibles, and here you can see it on Rarible. And these are some of the cards I created, Charles Hoskinson being one of my favorite personalities. Also made some in partnership with Crypto Crow that has a YouTube channel. And as well as I did some of Satoshi, and you can see there's differing, versions, differing rarities, and so some have more animations in them than others. And at the time, this was pretty cutting edge technology. Still, they're pretty cool, but other cool stuff has come around. However, I don't have a background in creating playable card games. I have almost zero experience in that. So I did realize that you could even one-up this if not only you made really cool cards related to the personalities of today, but if you could make it a playable card game. And so actually somebody is doing that, and I want to share that with you, and it's called Legends of Crypto. And so if you go to locgame.io, you'll see that actually a very good team with some good backers and partners is creating a collectible game just like that, that not only is it memorializing some of these personalities related to it, but that it will have some playable aspects to it. I also want to share with you that if you go to their Twitter, LOC Game, so at LOC Game IO, you can actually get into, let me see this, it says, made it this far? Great. You probably have a greater attention span than 95% of crypto Twitter. Now hit the follow button and ding the bell to turn on notifications because we've got an exclusive NFT giveaway coming soon. Hey, why not subscribe to them and turn on the notifications, or on Twitter words, follow them, turn on the notifications, because I know when we mentioned the dragon, what was that? The Pokemon dragon eggs, and they weren't exactly free. The project was giving them away for free, but you had to pay $6 or $7 or $8 for the Ethereum transaction. I know one of our subscribers got that dragon though that hatched out of their egg, so congratulations to you. So on this case, I don't even think we have to, when it later they do the giveaway, I don't think we have to pay for an Ethereum transaction. And so why not do that? Now, I've got a little bit more on them in a minute. Well, let me share with you at least the team. So Mike Mironoff is the CEO. Now, he was an executive at Airbnb, founder of Crypto Rebel, and he's a partner at SMC Capital, and he's been involved in the crypto space since 2015. He hired an art director, which for this type of thing is extremely critical. Have a good art director, and I want to share with you some of their really cool black, I think they're rare cards, in just a little bit. In fact, yeah, we'll save that and some other things for the end, so stay tuned. All right, let's go on to, well, these are some of the charts. Let's go on to some of the winners that we've been talking about. If you've been following my channel for a while and you've done very well, remember WanChain? We've been talking about WanChain since WanChain was at 30 cents. We've also been talking about WanSwap related to WanChain. And so in order to participate in WanSwap, you had to get WanChain, and then you had to get a WanChain wallet. Many of you chose to get the WanMask wallet, which behaves just like MetaMask. Now, they will be coming down with an update down the road that you can actually add WanChain to MetaMask so that you don't even have to have a separate wallet. But I got the WanMask wallet to integrate with this. And if you look at how well this WASP token that was related to WanSwap has done, remember when we first started this, the price was 2 cents. So in other words, it's 18x since then. So congratulations, and that's just since January. That's some phenomenal returns. And during that time, WanChain has also done phenomenally well. And if you're participating in WanSwap, what's cool about that is, let's go here. We're at WanSwap Analytics. Let me just take you to WanSwap itself. You can do some farming. If you've never done farming before, it's complicated. Do catch my other videos on WanSwap. Because what's cool about it is you get, for farming these different pairs, essentially you get WASP token rewards. So for me, when I first started, the first pairing I got into was the WASP WAN pairing. And I started making some good WASP per week just for doing that. And I bought a bunch of WASP way back then at 2 cents. Not only has the WASP appreciated well, but I've been earning additional WASP rewards, and many of you have too, so congratulations to all of you. Remember also, I did a video actually several times on SXP. Now this is a project I like for certain time periods. This isn't a forever portfolio one that I do, but I made really good money on them, buying here and selling here and here. And then I didn't know where things would go, so I bought more here. And then when it hit down here, I bought more, and I started covering them again down at these lows. And especially when it was anywhere around 70 cents. I told viewers that I was stocking up on it at 70 cents. And rode that all the way to above $3 about here. And then I sold most of my position, not all of it, just most of it, to diversify the portfolio. But during this time, buying at 70 cents and selling here, it was almost a 5x. And so now during this time, these patterns, I recently covered again when it looked like it was doing a cup and handle. And it was. It just didn't behave exactly like we had hoped it would. It did this cup and handle here. Little handle there, and then we suspected sometimes it does dip down. It actually did a pretty big dip, so I bought a bunch here, but when it did a pretty big dip, I bought a whole bunch here, and now it's done its breakout like we expected. So it just went down farther than we expected. However, since then it's been running up, and earlier today hit over $5, which is pretty exciting, especially within the short timeline. So we were getting those around the 20th of March. And here we are about the 7th of April, and like a 50% gain from what we were buying it at, especially if you bought more down here. That's been a phenomenal gain, almost an 80% gain during that time. And I don't think it's done running yet, so it might dink around some more, but my guess is it goes up near the $7 mark. and I haven't taken profits on this yet. I'm waiting for it to get closer to that $7 mark before I take some of my profits. So congratulations to all of you who bought some Swipe. Is it too late to get into Swipe? There's probably better opportunities at what Swipe's current price is. The time to really be, I mean, this was a pretty good time to get it. This was a great time to get it. Is this a great time to get it? Not so much. What other opportunities are there out there? Well, stay tuned for the channel because I cover them as they happen. So there's lots of projects that I like, and so that's great that I like them, but wouldn't you agree timing is freaking everything? And so is the timing great on Swipe? Not so much, not like it was. All right, so I did want to cover these cards now, and so that you have an idea of how cool these are. So this is for the Legends of Crypto game, and if you notice, like some of them will have a boost factor, some of them will be more rare, and you can tell who this is even though it doesn't necessarily say the exact person's name. They're just labeled as the Godfather of Exchanges. This is the Black Edition cards I was telling you about, and they are cool. As well, we have the overall deck here that gives us some information, I guess a summary of it, talking about their market cap and their use of funds. I think their total market cap when they come on the market is going to start at like 780,000 or something. And so that's a really attractive starting market cap. Now, will these things be subject to crypto winter? I do think they will. I think they'll do really good during this run is my best guess, especially if it's fun to play because you can actually play and earn. It should do really well. And then with crypto winter, a lot of people will actually invest at the top. They'll get, I guess, really disgusted that their portfolio did so well because they didn't get in till the very top. And so a lot of those people then leave the space and they sell at lows and they sell it right into our hands because I hope you're still around for that. I mean, that's really the point because this cycle, if you're new, hopefully you can make some pretty decent gains. It's going to be buying in the future crypto winter and then riding the next bull run that you're going to make life-changing wealth. So stick around because I'll be here because, yeah, I bought last cycle and I knew enough to stick around during the crypto winter and I stocked up on as much as I can and it's created life-changing wealth for me already. But why not, if you understand the cycles, keep playing the games, right? Why not still participate? It's been a blast and I've had a blast sharing this with all of you. So overall, I want to share with you the NFT market distribution per project and just see how much money is tied up into this. Now, this is CryptoPunks, which has like no functionality really. And there's so much money tied up into these. In fact, they go for such crazy amounts of money. And I feel like this is the space or the niche that these Legends of Crypto is going to hit. Because not only will they be kind of like a memory in time, kind of like the CryptoPunks were, it's kind of a memory in time, some of the first NFTs that came out in the early part of the previous bull run. They'll have a playable game and other things. And so I think they'll earn a permanent spot that 20 years from now, people will still remember those cards and collect them to memorialize kind of the technology shift that crypto created going a certain direction. Now, some of these other projects like Axie Infinity has made me tremendous money. I bought, unfortunately for me, an equal amount of Axie Infinity and Gods Unchained, but Axie Infinity has vastly outperformed what Gods Unchained has done, but I have noticed Gods Unchained taking off, and this is a playable card game that has been pretty cool. Not really my style. I'm not a card game type of person. But I definitely like investing in projects that I think will do well, and I don't exclude games from that because sometimes the game stuff appreciates much more than like regular cryptocurrencies do. And so actually Axie's been one of my biggest winners. The gains on that have been absolutely ridiculous. So I never discount like NFT and game related stuff, even though some people think, oh, that's not my gig. Hey, I'm an investor, and I invest in the stuff that I think will do the very best, and it's up to you what you do. That's just what I do. Well, I did want to share with you why I started this channel, and I just recorded this to give you kind of an update, and then I'll have a nugget for you. Thank you for joining me on the Crypto Rain channel. Is it fair to say that we're all investors here, and we're looking to make the very most happen during this bull run. And part of making the very most happen during this bull run, I found that I needed access to better information than I was getting. Better information from the standpoint of access to the teams out there. A lot of times they have information that's not private, that they're under contract not to disclose, but that hasn't hit the public awareness yet. And I was tired of finding out this kind of good information after the fact, after major runs had happened. And I knew that if I had that information and access to that information beforehand, I could do a lot better. And the many YouTubers that I followed weren't asking those deeper questions, even if they had access to these teams. So really then, it was on me to start my own channel and try to add value to you so that you would join me in this shared vision. Now, as you found from my videos, if you watched them before, I'm an analytical personality. I like to ask questions, and I like to understand how that's going to relate to the vision of the project and whether it will hit it and whether it won't, and whether this project might outperform other ones, so that I can make the very most happen and share all of that with you as well. So if you've looked at the track record of the different projects that we've covered over the past 4 months since I started making videos, they've done phenomenal. And I know many of you have used that information to inform yourselves and make your own decisions, and many of you have followed me in many of the decisions that I've made, because I just share with you the decisions I make and how I made them. And many of you have done very, very well with those picks. I know my portfolio has grown tremendously and definitely outperformed the general market. And so if you haven't already, would love it if you like the video and you subscribe to the channel, because that will help me get access to some of the bigger projects, in fact all of the bigger projects, so I can ask even better questions, so that I know when timing is really good on a project. Say I love a project, but timing is also very important, so that then I can cover them better for you to hopefully help inform your decisions. Well, I do appreciate you for being here, and we will see you next time. All right, you ready for that nugget? So this is one I've talked about before, and just like timing is everything, right? So I just like what's going on with the timing on this one. This is Ultra. Now really they're a competitor to Steam, and if you're not a video game player, you might not even know what Steam is, but it's one of the largest money-making avenues of the game industry, and that they're kind of a platform that hosts games, and so games pay them money to be on them or share with them a percentage of sales. And one of the challenges with Steam for the end users is that your value is trapped in there. So if you use USD to buy dollars and put them on the Steam account, essentially you can't get them back off. You can sell things on their marketplace to get money off, but it's trapped on the Steam network. You can only use that to buy other things on the Steam network. And so Ultra has a great chance and a good team to come in and beat them. And I think this is one of the avenues where cryptocurrency is really going to change a lot, and that's with video games, where people can own their own items and they can actually own those games. And why shouldn't they be able to sell like whatever license they bought to play a game and say they're done with that game? Why shouldn't they be able to put it on the resale market or other things? And that has a lot better chance of happening on a decentralized system within the crypto sphere. And so Ultra is creating essentially a crypto alternative to Steam. I don't know, I did cover them more in depth a few weeks ago, and so I'm not going to go over the fundamentals of them. But what I like is, I like things that their price is attractive. And what I see is them trading along the bottom end of this current trend line. Now, what's interesting about this is they didn't quite hit a double top. In fact, this high was higher than the previous one. And so what I'm watching on this is, I've been watching this trend really carefully, and I was picking up some here and some more here, and then it went up, and then it's retraced to a really attractive buy zone along the lower part of the trend line. And this is one I hold a lot of myself, even though it's only like 3% of my portfolio. That's a lot more than I usually allocate into any altcoin, just because I believe that it's such an opportunity to hit in a space where there's so much opportunity. So that's my bonus if you stuck around till here. So I do thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time.